Go with the first in the series of the 100 meters, and Adi Wali looking very strong again as they come through. And a superb run.
At just 15 years old, Divine Iheme has done the unthinkable. The British sprinting prodigy from Oxford has already rewritten the story of what's possible at his age, running faster than Usain Bolt and Noah Lyles did as teenagers. In a sport defined by legends, this young runner isn't waiting his turn. He's forcing the world to pay attention right now. When Divine Iheme ran 10.3 seconds in August 2024, the sprinting world took notice. It wasn't just fast for his age, it was a global statement. To put it in perspective, that time was nearly a full second faster than what Noah Lyles ran at the same age. Usain Bolt? His best at 14 was 10.57 seconds. Divine didn't just break records, he obliterated them. Divine Iheme's time also smashed the U15 world record previously held by Jamaica's Sachin Dennis, who had clocked 10.51.
Well, when I first saw it, I was in utter shock. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was jumping about, running around. I just felt so happy.
In just one race, Divine rewrote the history books. Even more astonishing, that run would have placed him third at the 2024 British Athletics Championships in the senior men's 100 meters event. The 10.3 mark even placed Divine among the top performances in European U18 history, trailing only Teddy Wilson and France's Jeff Arias. Born on the 1st of October 2009 in Radley, Oxfordshire, Divine Iheme has sprinting in his DNA. Both his parents, Innocent Iheme and Nkiruka Anu, were international sprinters for Nigeria. His mother, now his coach, was so convinced of his talent that she helped found the PWD Athletics Academy in Oxford. His mom recalls knowing he was special even before he was born. "When I was pregnant, he kept kicking," she told the BBC. "I knew when he was in my tummy." And she wasn't wrong. From primary school, Divine stood out, and by the time he was 13, he was already focusing on sprinting. His training ramped up under the guidance of his mother and Radley AC, where he built his explosive power and running technique. While his 100 meters run made headlines, Divine didn't stop there. In January 2025, he broke the 60 meters world record for 5-year-olds, twice in one day. First, he ran 6.72, then 6.71 seconds at the BFTTA Indoor Series in London. That shattered the previous record of 6.74 set by Jamie Samuels in 2003.
Oh, Divine.
With these runs, Divine moved into fourth on the UK's all-time U18 rankings for the 60 meters, just 0.02 seconds off Mark Lewis Francis's record of 6.69. Not bad for someone who had just turned 15. The 60 meters times also brought him closer to national age group records, highlighting how his power off the blocks is on par with top senior sprinters. Divine doesn't try to mimic the legends, he builds on their foundation. He's watched Bolt's 200 meters world record race more times than he can count, but his own running style? He calls it unique and natural. "I don't try to model it from anyone," he told Sky Sports. "I just try my best to slingshot off the bend in the 200 meters and keep going until the finish line." That mix of natural form and fearless execution is what sets him apart. According to coaches, his relaxed upper body and controlled cadence are rare in sprinters his age. Despite his record-breaking times, Divine remains grounded. When told he'd beaten Lyles' youth time, his reaction wasn't one of arrogance, but admiration. "Noah is a great athlete," he said. "He's given me a lot of confidence to break barriers as I go through my journey." Similarly, Divine has openly said how much Usain Bolt inspired him. Watching Bolt's legendary 200 meters race at the 2009 World Championships was what sparked his sprinting dream. Now, he's the one inspiring a new generation. Divine even cited Allyson Felix as a major influence, admiring her fluid stride and composure under pressure. Divine's story is also one of family. His parents gave up their own careers to support his. His mom, Nkiruka, spent 9 years in the British military before dedicating herself full-time to Divine's training. His father and grandfather were athletes. His 2 older brothers, Praise and Wisdom, are also deeply involved in sports. And yet, Divine says his biggest goal isn't medals. It's giving back. "I want to make sure that in the future, they can just sit back and relax while I can get them gifts, buy them a house," he told the BBC. The goal is to try and make them happy, make them live a great life. He credits his family as the engine behind his work ethic. Divine became English schools champion in 2024 over 100 meters. He also won both the 100 meters and 200 meters sprint double at the English Athletics Indoor Age Group Championships that same year. By August 2025, he ran a British U18 best of 10.29 seconds in the 100 meters at Lee Valley, a European all-time best for 5-year-olds. He's not just fast, he's consistent. From 60 meters indoors to 200 meters outdoors, he's dominating every event he enters. The comparisons to Lyles and Bolt aren't hype, they're based on real numbers. Divine also recently qualified for the U18 European Championships, setting him up for his international debut. Even Usain Bolt has taken notice. In a podcast, Bolt reflected on how early success made his transition into pro racing harder. "When I started out, I didn't understand the concept of being great," he said. "I would go to meets and I would lose, and I was like, this is strange, this is new. So it took me a while to understand." Bolt's warning? Talent alone isn't enough, it takes work, consistency, and humility, and it seems Divine is listening. With a work ethic fueled by family, faith, and ambition, he's preparing for the long haul. British media has dubbed him the new Noah Lyles. Commentators and former sprinters alike are in awe of his progress. Fans are sharing his clips across social media, and every appearance he makes draws more attention. He's become a viral name in track circles, without any flashy antics. His social media presence remains modest. He's not chasing fame, he's chasing finish lines. And that's perhaps what makes him most exciting of all. Recently, scouts from major athletics programs in the UK and Europe have begun tracking his progress closely, seeing him as a future Olympian. Divine has set his eyes on breaking 10.2 inches the 100 meters and going sub 21 inches the 200 meters. With the way he's progressing, those goals don't just seem realistic, they seem inevitable. He trains 4 times a week at PWD Academy and balances school, family, and an increasingly demanding athletic schedule. More than just a sprinter, Divine Iheme is a name you'll likely hear for years to come. As he matures and enters the senior circuit, expectations will rise, but if his current mindset holds, so will his results. As of September 2025, he is already ranked among the top under 1/8 athletes globally in both the 60 meters and 100 meters. At just 15, Divine Iheme has already done what legends like Usain Bolt and Noah Lyles never did, post world-class times before even reaching high school age. And while comparisons are inevitable, what truly sets him apart is his balance of humility, talent, and relentless drive. He's not running for attention, he's running for his family, his future, and his faith. If his current trajectory continues, Divine might not just match the greats, he could become one of them. Because when a 15-year-old breaks records set by icons and still wants to train harder, run faster, and give back more, that's not just talent, that's destiny in motion.
Brilliant start from Omanyala. Well, Lyles are not quite as good as he was in that recall, but here goes Lachlan Kennedy. Could Lachlan Kennedy go under 10 seconds for the first time and take a big win? 9:98 for Lachlan Kennedy.
Lachlan Kennedy just did something that no Australian has done in over 20 years. This 21-year-old runner from Brisbane ran 100 meters in just 9.98 seconds. That might sound like a small number, but it makes him only the second Australian ever to run that fast legally. Let me put that in perspective for you. The last time an Australian ran under 10 seconds was Patrick Johnson back in 2003 with his 9.93 national record. That was 22 years ago. Kennedy wasn't even born yet when Johnson set that mark. So who is this 21-year-old sprinter who just rewrote Australian athletics history? Lachlan Kennedy grew up in Brisbane playing rugby union. He wasn't some track prodigy grinding it out since age 6. This guy was running around rugby fields, playing wing from under 6s all the way up to under 15s, even making Brisbane junior representative sides and playing international rugby for Australia. The switch to athletics happened almost by accident. In 2020, during his final year of school, Kennedy's football coach told him to run in the 4x100 meter relay because he thought Kennedy was fast enough. Kennedy showed up 30 minutes late to the trial wearing $20 spikes and ended up running the fastest time at his school with 11.6 seconds on a grass track. That moment changed everything. Within a year, while still juggling rugby training, schoolwork, and serving as house captain, Kennedy dropped his 100-meter time to a shocking 10.51 seconds. His coach Russell Hansen was working with an athlete who had been doing serious athletics training for just 1 year. But there's something else that makes Kennedy's story remarkable. In 2018, when he was just 15 years old, Kennedy was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. This is an autoimmune condition that requires constant monitoring and management. Kennedy has to make around 180 extra health decisions every single day just to stay safe. Kennedy travels with insulin pumps, continuous glucose monitors, blood test strips, backup insulin pens, sensors, and treatments for low blood sugar when he went on his 6-week international racing tour across Africa, Europe, and the US. His medical equipment took up as much space as his racing gear. 2 days before the prestigious Prefontaine Classic in Oregon, Kennedy's glucose sensor stopped working. He had to go back to old-school finger prick testing while nursing a stress fracture in his back and competing against the fastest sprinters in the world. Kennedy refuses to make excuses about his condition. He told reporters, "I don't want to make a big deal out of it. My continuous glucose monitor and my insulin pump help me to have healthy glucose levels, and there are rarely any issues. It was just frustrating and annoying that I was already dealing with an injury and I had this extra diabetes stuff to deal with too." He actually believes diabetes has made him a better athlete. Kennedy said, "I think I live a healthier lifestyle than I would have done if I hadn't developed type 1 diabetes. It forces you to be aware, to think about your body, to be disciplined. That definitely helps on and off the track." Kennedy's progression through the sprinting ranks has been nothing short of extraordinary. After that breakthrough 10.51 in 2021, he made the Australian under-20 relay team in 2022. That relay squad broke a 12-year-old Australian record, running 39.30 seconds. The 2023 season saw Kennedy drop his personal best to 10.24 in the 100 meters and 20.93 in the 200 meters. By 2024, despite an injury-hampered domestic season, he ran fast enough to make the Olympic relay team for Paris. At the Paris Olympics, Kennedy ran the opening leg of the Australian 4x100 meter relay. The team set a new Australian and Oceania record of 38.12 seconds, though they missed the final by just 0.05 of a second. Then came 2025, and Kennedy went on an absolute tear. In January, he equaled and then broke the Australian 60-meter record, running 6.43 seconds to set new senior Australian and Oceania records. That time was the 10th fastest ever recorded in the event. At the World Indoor Championships in March, Kennedy won silver in the 60 meters, running 6.50 seconds and finishing just 1/100th of a second behind the winner. It was Australia's first world indoor medal in the 60 meters.
The arena explodes into noise, and there's a great start there from Azu on the left. But on the far side, oh my word, I think it's Lachlan Kennedy.
But the outdoor season is where Kennedy really announced himself as a global threat. At the Morey Plant Meet in Melbourne, he beat rising star Gout in the 200 meters, running a personal best of 20.26 seconds on a cold, windy night. That time moved him to 5th on the Australian all-time list.
Side law, can he get to Kennedy? Not at the moment. Kennedy's in front. Gout's coming hard. Very, very hard. Kennedy's won.
Kennedy continued dropping his 100-meter times throughout the season. He ran 10.17, then 10.03, then 10.00 at the Australian Championships. In that championship final, he finished second to Rohan Browning by just 0.05 of a second, both men credited with 10.01 seconds. Then came the Kip Keino Classic in Nairobi, Kenya on May 31st. Kennedy was facing a strong international field, including Olympic medalist Bayanda Walaza from South Africa and home favorite Ferdinand Omanyala, who holds the African 100-meter record. The race had a false start, which could have rattled Kennedy's nerves. Instead, he used the delay to his advantage. Kennedy said afterward, "I think there was early movement from someone in the first part of the race, but it actually did me good. It settled the nerves, so I was pretty confident out there." Kennedy, who typically gets out of the blocks fast, had to come from behind in this race. In the final meters, he powered past both Walaza and Omanyala to win in 9.98 seconds with a slight headwind of -0.7 meters per second. The moment Kennedy saw the time on the board, he was overcome with emotion. "As soon as I saw the 9.98, I was thrilled. The feeling was so surreal. I couldn't believe it," he said. "It's so good. I can finally say, I run 9. I haven't wanted to rush it or put the pressure on myself. I take every race as it comes, and I knew it would come eventually." Kennedy's time of 9.98 seconds made him the second fastest Australian ever, and only the second to legally break the 10-second barrier. His time ranked as the 13th fastest 100 meters in the world for 2025. The significance of breaking 10 seconds cannot be overstated. It's the difference between being an excellent national-level runner and becoming a serious contender on the world stage. Kennedy is still just 21 years old, which means he's likely years away from his peak performance. Kennedy credits his success to his support system. His coach, Andrew Iselin, has guided his development, along with training partners like Collab Law. Kennedy said, "I've got a good coach, good training partners, and a good strength and conditioning team around me. It's been about trusting the process." The friendly rivalry with Gout has pushed both athletes to new heights. When Kennedy texted Gout about his sub-10 performance, Gout replied, "Congrats, bro. No way you went sub-10 in Kenya." Kennedy shot back, "You gotta get out to some of this high altitude. You'll do it too." Their head-to-head battle at the Maury plant meet was described by one reporter as like Bolt versus the T-10,000. The race had 10,000 fans on their feet, and Kennedy's win in 20.26 seconds showed he could beat the teenage sensation when it mattered most. While Gout gets most of the headlines and social media attention, Kennedy has quietly built one of the most impressive sprint resumes in Australian history. He holds Australian records in the 60 meters and 4 by 100 meter relay, sits second all-time in the 100 meters and fifth all-time in the 200 meters.
Wanyonyi in the closing stages holding on as Sajati, the bronze medalist.
At 21 years old, Emmanuel Wanyonyi did more than just win an 800-meter race. He amazed the whole world. He ran faster than top athletes, broke a big record, and made sure everyone noticed him. But what makes his story even more incredible is where he started. From a young boy taking care of cows to one of the best runners in the world, his journey is truly inspiring. He grew up in Kapretwa, a small village in Kenya, as the fifth of 12 children. Life was not easy for his family. They didn't have enough money, so he had to stop going to school when he was just 10. Instead of learning in a classroom, he spent his days walking through fields in the hot sun, looking after cattle. Without even realizing it, those long walks were helping him build strong legs and the endurance he would one day need to become a champion runner. When Wanyonyi was 18, his father passed away. His mother had to move with his younger brothers and sisters, but Wanyonyi stayed behind. He didn't know what would happen next. One day, a teacher saw how fast he could run and told him to come back to school and start racing. That moment changed his life. It wasn't easy. Wanyonyi had to work hard in school and practice running at the same time. He was still sad about losing his dad, but he didn't give up. He started running in small races nearby and kept winning. People began to notice that he wasn't just a fast runner, he could be something special. One of the people who noticed him was Janeth Jepkoske, a former world champion. She introduced him to a famous coach named Claudio Berardelli. With good training for the first time, Wanyonyi got even better, and his talent really began to shine. In 2021, at just 17, he stormed to gold at the World U20 Championships in Nairobi, even setting a new championship record. By 2022, he was already competing among the world's best, finishing 4th at the Senior World Championships. For a teenager, this was unheard of. Wanyonyi didn't just run fast, he ran smart. He brought fearlessness to the track, racing seasoned professionals with remarkable poise. In 2023, Wanyonyi narrowly missed the top podium spot, taking silver behind Marco Arop at the World Championships in Budapest with a time of 1 minute 44.53 seconds. For most, this would be a career highlight. For Wanyonyi, it lit a fire. He ramped up training and entered 2024 with a point to prove. In April, he broke the road mile world record with a time of 3 minutes 54.56 seconds. Though that record would later be surpassed, his target remained the 800 meters. This silver medal loss revealed more than disappointment. It revealed grit. While others celebrated, Wanyonyi quietly planned his return. He also began analyzing race footage more closely, learning the habits and weaknesses of his closest rivals. His understanding of pacing, positioning, and psychological pressure evolved. Wanyonyi wasn't just building fitness, he was building strategy. The 2024 Paris Olympics delivered one of the greatest 800-meter races ever. Wanyonyi edged out Sajati and Arop to win gold, finishing in 1 minute 41.19 seconds. It was the third fastest time in history, and he wasn't done. That same year in Lausanne, he clocked 1 minute 41.11 seconds, matching Wilson Kipketer's legendary mark and closing in on David Rudisha's world record of 1 minute 40.91 seconds.